So good morning! My name is Teacher Daisy and our lesson is all about science. So today we will discover something. So I have here 2 glasses of water. So we'll be doing something related to our lesson. So what we're going to do is we will add 2 calamansi in each cup. Okay, so now, as you can see, I already added 2 calamansi in each cup. So in cup A, these have 2 calamansi, cup B, 2 calamansi. So what can you say about the seeds? Do you notice that most of it sinks at the bottom of the cup? Look. So next, what we're going to do is add a spoonful of sugar in the cup A. So after adding sugar in calamansi juice, I will mix it thoroughly until the sugar is dissolved. So do you notice something? Observe now the 2 cups. This is cup A and this is cup B. So notice what happened to the seeds after adding the sugar in cup A. Okay, so later, we will answer what makes the seeds of calamansi float and why some seed in cup B sinks at the bottom of the cup. Okay, today we will talk about the basic properties of matter. So in general, properties of matter, we have mass, weight, volume, and density. So first one is mass. So what is mass? It represents the amount of matter in an object. It can be measured through kilograms or grams. Next, we have weight. So weight is related to mass because it represents the force of gravity. So everything that pulls to the ground is what we call gravity. So it can be expressed in newtons, dynes, or pounds. So next one is what we call volume. Not the volume in sound, but volume in matter. So it refers to the space that matter occupies. Example, and this one, the volume of the water in the cup. How much water is in the cup? So that is what all about the volume. It can be measured through millimeters, cubic centimeters, or even liters. Next one is what we call density. So density refers to how closely packed the amount of matter is in the space that it occupies. So density is mass per unit volume. So the common units of density are grams per millimeter and grams per liter. So in general, solid have higher densities than liquid and liquids have higher densities than gases. Try to fill the lines with the correct substance. So some solids are less dense than liquids. A piece of wood floats on water because it is less dense than water. Example, water is a liquid and oil is also a liquid. So oil has 0.88 grams per cubic centimeter while water is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. So what do you think will happen when you mix oil with water? Do you know the answer? What will float and what will sink? So you need to analyze or you need to learn, identify which of the following, water or cooking oil, is much denser. So remember, going back to our calamansi activity, in the beginning of our activity, notice that when I put 2 calamansi seeds in each cup, most of the seeds sinks at the bottom of the cup. When I add the sugar and mix it with water in cup A, look what happened to the seeds. It floats. So what happened? Adding sugar to water makes the water much denser. So what happened? Water now is much denser in the calamansi seeds. That's why the seed floats. How do you determine the density of a matter? So if you know the mass of an object and the volume of that mass, you can simply divide the values to obtain the object's density. Example, density is equals to mass over volume. Next, let's proceed to the special properties of matter. So we have special or specific properties of matter are those properties that may be observed only in some kind of matter. So remember that each property can be utilized for a specific purpose. First one, shape. An object physical form, it may be round, square, or oblong. Next is texture. It refers to how the object feels on your skin. It's either rough or smooth. Next, number 3 is hardness. It is the ability of a solid to scratch the surface of another object or to resist being scratched by another object. Next one is color. So, a quality that is related to the light an object observes or reflects. Okay, number 5, taste. The property of matter that makes you enjoy what you eat. So some have sweet taste, some has bitter taste, and some has sour taste. Next one, number 6 is smell, or also known as odor. It is the quality that over time distinguishes newly cooked food from the rotten food. Number 7 is brittleness, the tendency of a solid to easily be broken. Number 8, fluidity, the ability of liquid and gases to flow. Malleability, the ability of some solids to be hammered or bent into thin sheets or molded into various shapes. Some examples of this are gold, silver, or some metals like aluminum. So they are malleable. Next one is temperature. Number 10, a measure of the coldness of warmth of an object. Number 11 is elasticity, the ability of matter to return to its original state after being stretched or deformed. Example of this is elastic band. Okay, next number 12 is ductility, the ability of some materials to be drawn into fine wires. Some of this is aluminum or wires that can be found in our home to conduct electricity. Number 13 is compressibility. It is the ability of the gases to occupy smaller space when particles are subjected to a higher pressure. Number 14 is absorbency. It is the tendency of the solid or some matter to absorb or take in liquid. Example of this is sponge or cotton. Number 15 is buoyancy. It is the ability of a material to float on liquid. So, after learning some specific properties of matter, we may add 3 other properties of matter. First one is strength, the ability of materials to support the weight of withstand an external force without breaking. Number 2, luster. Example of this is diamond and silk. It is the ability of material to grow as it reflects light. And last one is porosity. It is the ability of material to permit another material to flow through it. So, in matter, we have what we call physical and chemical properties. So, what is physical properties? It is the properties that can be observed without changing the composition of matter. Example, in malleability, when you bend or make silver into thin sheet, you didn't change its composition. So that is what we call physical properties. So you just change this shape but not its properties. Next is chemical properties. It is the properties determined causing a change in the composition of the substance. Example, when you burn a paper, you cannot turn it back into its original form. So there are two common chemical properties. First one is combustibility, the ability of certain kinds of matter to burn, and flammability is the ability of matter to catch fire. So example of this is paper. Paper is both combustible and flammable. So can you identify the four basic or general properties of matter? How about the special properties? That's all, and thank you for listening.